Just want to show you a little gadget I made for the FT857, possibly work on the 817 as well. What I wanted to do was make a remote display. The idea was that the 857 could go into a pack, go hiking with me or whatever, and if I was going portable I could just leave that in the bag and have a remote display. So this is what I've come up with. Unfortunately it's too big, it's too heavy, and it's very limited in function. The reason of that is the Cat command set of the 857 is very poor. However, I carried on and built it, and this is what we've got. So I'll just take the lid off. I say it could be shrunk possibly to half its size, but nevertheless it would still be too big. So what I've got then in the box is an Arduino, a shield containing a 16:2 display, a voltage regulator, and a few components to make a voltage divider to do the voltage display. So on the display, oh, and by the way, this is working entirely just from the Cat. There's no other power supply. It's working entirely from the Cat. The Cat does supply a 13-volt output from the socket, which it's using, hence the voltage regulator inside to break it down to 5-volt for the Arduino. However, I did find, incidentally, that on my 857 there was no 13-volt on the connector, and it turned out that my radio was faulty. There's an internal fuse of about 3 amps, about the size of a grain of wheat. It's microscopic. So I had to replace that to get it working in order to complete the project. So what we've got then is a 16:2 display, and on it is the frequency, the mode, the voltage, and you'll see those two S readings there. The first one is the instantaneous S reading, and the second one after the star is the peak reading. Now the program, the sketch as it's called, uses 3 libraries. It uses the wire library, the LCdisplay library, and they're both part of the Arduino package, and another library called FT857 Cat library. Now this is a library released by VE3BUX. So if you go to his website you can get some details on his library. I have modified his library because his library doesn't provide a way of getting the S-meter reading, so I've done a modification on that. So as I say, that's the display you get, and because of the very limited commands in the Cat library, there's not a lot else you can do. So in receive mode, that's what I'm getting. Incidentally, that's just listening to, just so I could demonstrate there's actually a signal there, that's listening to an airport ATIS frequency. So there you have it there. So if I put it into, if I were to transmit, let me go to, right, there we go. Let's put it into transmit USB. That's not really very good, is it? Let's go to FM. When I key the transmit, it will just give me the power reading on the left. There we go, 5 watts. If I were to go into USB, come here. Right, there's lower sideband. When I talk, it will give me the peak readings as the same as the S meter. 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. So you've got a sideband peak reading. The only other feature it does, and I'll try and demonstrate that right at the end, is if you go bad VSWR, it will bring up an alarm. So the shield came with some switches as well. Now I thought, well, I might as well use them for something. These ones down here. So there is a reset switch. So if I press the reset, it resets the whole thing. So there's the little splash screen, and back we go. And it should, in fact, there we go. Well, in fact, there's something on that frequency and the voltage. So the other ones, you can make them into a macro to do little features. So for instance, this one turns it onto the 2-meter calling. This one will change it to Work All Britain. Oh, what else have I got? That sets it to 1933 net on lower sideband, which I listen to occasionally. This one doesn't do anything. I haven't programmed that one. This one locks and unlocks the VFO. So that's about it, and that's pretty much all you can do with the cat commands. They're very basic. Things you can't do are, which I would have liked, was I'd like to be able to control the power output, which you can't. Have a look at the ALC, which you can't, or even the mod level. It would be nice to have a little bar graph floating along when you're talking. You know, if you're out portable, to see the mod level, and you can't get that out of the Cat either. It's very limited. So I'll just very quickly, now if I transmit on there, there's no antenna connected at all, so it should go straight into VSWR alarm. So let's try that. One, there we go, straight into VSWR alarm, and it brings that up. In fact, it's munged the display, hasn't it, as well, when it's come out of it. It's probably got a bit of RF into it because there's no antenna, so let's just reset it. So there you go. There you have it. The total cost was about £15 maximum, I suppose. So even though it's a little bit of a folly, it was a bit of a little fun project to build. So there you are.